Hello there, good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight, Wednesday evening. I'm Roger Johnson. Thank you for being with us. Our top story. Police launch early morning raids targeting alleged sex offenders from assaults a decade ago. Officers say that they are determined to put right their failings of the past. Also tonight, certain to die in jail, the paedophile school housemaster who spent 27 years on the run in Thailand.
You are right, there are not enough bad words to describe war and no one should ever want to go back to it.
No, they shouldn't. There's no glory in war.
Letters to a Veteran, the VE Day anniversary project, connecting the generations across 80 years. Shaking up Shakespeare, the Rockers' Radiohead power a new version of Hamlet premiering in Manchester. No Mow May, why having a scruffy lawn for a few weeks can help to boost wildlife.
And it's been the warmest day of the year so far, and if you're a fan of the warm weather, there's more on the way tomorrow. Join me at the end of the programme, I'll have the full forecast.
Police who are investigating alleged child sexual abuse in Oldham more than a decade ago are tonight questioning three men. They were arrested in dawn raids across Greater Manchester, and they are part of a long-running inquiry into child sexual exploitation in Oldham, allegedly involving grooming in shisha bars. The raids came on the day that Keir Starmer and Kemi Badenoch clashed over the issue of grooming gangs in the Commons. Andy Gill reports.
Early this morning, police raid a property in Rochdale. The focus of this inquiry, though, is alleged events in Oldham between 2011 and 2014. Police also detained a man in Oldham and another in Bolton. It's all part of an inquiry called Operation Sherwood, which senior officers said today is a long-term project.
We are still uncovering the scale of this, and I think previously we have apologised for our failings in respect of this. And what I would say is that we are absolutely committed to uncovering every single aspect of what occurred in Oldham at that time.
That apology refers to an independent report 3 years ago, which said children in Oldham were failed by those who should have protected them from abuse. The report was set up after online rumours that the council was covering up evidence of grooming gangs in Oldham. That report 3 years ago said there was no cover-up, but it did say that the council and the police had failed some children and opportunities to protect them had been missed. It said the quality of casework by the police and the council had been very poor in some cases, and the authorities were not talking to each other properly. The issue of grooming gangs in many northwest towns continues to be current. In the Commons today, the Conservatives stepped up the pressure for a national inquiry into them. They claim that because many gang members were of Asian heritage, Labour were reluctant to investigate.
At least 50 towns are affected by rape gangs. Places like Peterborough, Derby, Birmingham, Nottingham, Leicester, Rotherham, Rochdale and Preston. Is he dragging his heels on this because he doesn't want Labour cover-ups exposed?
The government has agreed to a series of local investigations, one in Oldham.
We are providing for local inquiries. We're investing more on delivering truth and justice for victims than the party opposite did in 14 long years.
In response to the report into events as far back as 2011, GMP said then that they'd consider whether any further action could be taken in respect of any men allegedly involved. Today saw those three arrests. Andy Gill, BBC North West Tonight, Oldham.
Now, the emergency services are right now dealing with a large wildfire in the Goyt Valley. Firefighters began tackling the fire near Irwood Reservoir just before midday, with crews from around the region attending. Residents are being advised to avoid the area and to keep their doors and windows shut.
We spotted the first plume of smoke over the other way at around 10 a.m. this morning, I reckon, 10, 11 o'clock. It was pretty big early on, but it was obvious it wasn't just a barbecue or something. There was quite a lot of smoke coming out of the Goyt Valley. The fire crews here have assured us all day they've been very, very good. And we've moved the public away, but in terms of us, we definitely feel safe that they've got us covered. It's the wildlife and everything else out on the moors. That's the concern.
I have the latest on that on our late news at 10:30. Now, a man's died after a serious incident involving a forklift in Liverpool earlier today. The emergency services were called to help the 63-year-old at Seaforth Docks just after 10 o'clock this morning. He died at the scene. An investigation into what happened is underway. Now, the Warrington Peace Centre has closed its doors for good. We've reported on it many times over the decades. It was set up, as you probably know, by Colin and Wendy Parry in memory of their son Tim and Jonathan Ball, who were killed in the 1993 IRA bombing in the town. It's worked to promote peace and reconciliation for more than 30 years, but has been sold to the Borough Council. The foundation in the boys' names, though, will live on, awarding grants from the sale of the building to other charities doing similar work, as Colin and Wendy told me this afternoon.
The Peace Centre's been part of our lives for 32 years, and now we move on. The charity survives, and we'll do it in a different way, and we'll pay out money rather than looking for money. But yeah, the building itself as an edifice will be there for many years, I hope.
All the money that we get from the Peace Centre and anything that was left in the bank, we will now give to smaller charities. So charities that are doing similar work to what we did, they can apply to us now for a grant.
And how do you now reflect on the legacy that you've left all these years on?
Well, the boys' names, for as long as they're in the public eye, to some extent, they'll be forever associated with a terrible event. But in the aftermath of that, bringing peace to other people's lives, and particularly to young people's lives, where they're living in under conditions or in families or in schools where they're being discriminated against on the grounds of their colour, their skin, their faith, their sexuality, whatever it might be. You know, we will be doing things in Jonathan's and Tim's names to try and address those things through a third party, not ourselves, but nonetheless, to try and make sure other kids have a decent, healthy life.
I'm delighted that you know, we've been able to help thousands and thousands of young people over the years that they've been using the Peace Centre.
Colin and Wendy Parry there. Wendy, of course, Tim Parry's mum, and Colin, not what it said on the screen, Tim's dad. My thanks to them for talking to me. Now, a prolific paedophile will die in jail after being sentenced to 46 years in prison. Richard Burroughs, who's 81, should have stood trial in the 1990s, but he fled the country and lived for 27 years in Thailand before coming back home last year. He's been convicted of almost 100 historical sex offences against multiple boys, while a scout leader and a housemaster at a Cheshire school. Let's go live to Phil McCann. He's at Chester Crown Court. He was following today's sentencing. Phil.
Roger, it's no exaggeration to say that today is a day that many of Richard Burroughs' victims thought would never come. In fact, one told me that he thought he'd never see him again when he failed to turn up here to answer for his crimes in 1997. Instead, he was in a place where he referred to as paradise in Thailand. Some of his victims didn't get to see him again because 4 died between the 90s and now. For the rest, though, today they got to see justice being done. One thing is clear tonight, that at the age of 81, Richard Burroughs will never be free again. This paedophile has been in paradise, but now, finally, he's in prison. It's 27 years since Richard Burroughs fled to Thailand instead of standing trial here in Chester. It's nearly 60 years since he started abusing his victims. Victims like James, sexually assaulted by Burroughs in the 70s when he was a Sea Scout in Warsaw. He's waived his right to be anonymous.
It surprised me how emotional that I was when I was speaking to him in court. And it surprised me how emotional I felt to realise that he is going to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Burroughs is a coward. He knew he was guilty in 1997. But rather than face the consequences of his actions, he fled the country. I also hope that this case acts as a warning to any other wanted suspects out there. We will find you, and you will be held accountable for your actions.
Burroughs was a schoolmaster at Danesford Approved School in Congleton in Cheshire for 3 years from 1969. There, his trial heard, he raped and sexually assaulted 7 boys. In the 2 years before that, and over 25 years afterwards, he carried out the same abuse against scouts and young radio enthusiasts across the Midlands, like this man, who we're calling David.
And I'm not seeing one shred of remorse, not a flicker of recognition for any of the harm that he's done to people. Not one jot.
Both the school and the scouts were told about Burroughs' abuse, but but didn't tell the police.
Tonight we reveal disturbing details of sexual and physical abuse.
Victims eventually told the police, and it sparked what became a huge investigation into abuse in children's homes across the northwest. Others were convicted.
In February, we showed the face of Richard John Burroughs.
But the police had no idea Burroughs was in Thailand until last year, when they used AI on a controversial facial recognition website called PimEyes. It found him in seconds on the website of a local newspaper. But privacy campaigners want the police to stop using the site. The Metropolitan Police has done.
Obviously, it worked extremely well, and you know, that technology allowed us to get to this point today, really.
The judge told Richard Burroughs he was despicable. His own defence acknowledged his thoughts were warped and he'll likely die in prison. Phil McCann, BBC North West Tonight, Chester Crown Court. Well, tonight, the Scout Association has said that it will be reviewing the actions that it took back in the mid-90s when it was informed about Burroughs. You can see much more on this on a documentary that we've put together, a half-hour documentary. You can see it on the BBC iPlayer from tonight. It's called Richard Burroughs, the Predator Who Fled to Paradise. Roger.
Phil, thank you very much. Phil McCann there. Now, this is Sally Hurst. She's a young artist based in Manchester at the Whitworth Art Gallery. It is her dream job. But because she has autism and learning disabilities, she thought that she would never stand a chance of getting it. Well, Sally's been helped by the direct payments scheme, which allows people in receipt of care to choose how to spend their care allowance. And she now wants more people to take up the opportunities that direct payments offer. Kelly Foran's been to see her.
Arriving at the Whitworth Art Gallery in Manchester as artist in residence, it's Sally Hurst.
We're going to be doing a worksheet where we're looking at our favourite food or a food with a special meaning to us.
Sally's love of art started here, and it's never really gone away.
It's next to so much amazing artwork, like there's a Gilbert and George over there and all these amazing artists next to my work, and it's really amazing.
She has autism and learning disabilities. Using the direct payment scheme, she could choose how to spend her care money. It bought her a placement at a centre for learning disabled artists.
Everybody is different, everybody has different needs and wants, and we just want people to be able to get the care that they want in the way that they want it to suit their own lifestyle.
It's allowed her to follow her dreams.
And what I was always worried about for Sally as an adult was because it would be difficult for her to get a standard job, that she'd end up in a day centre that was sort of like babysitting. That's the view that you have of care for adults. But actually knowing there's options like Venture Arts, she's not there. It's not a day centre where she's cared for. She's an artist working at a studio, and that's what's so amazing, and that it gives her such confidence and purpose.
I was going to do animal care, but because of physical health I couldn't continue, but I'm much happier being an artist anyway. How about you, Molly?
Before Venture Arts, Sally barely spoke to anyone outside the home.
It means a lot to me.
Thank you for enjoyed it. That level of confidence and empowerment and the happiness you can see in Sally, like for me as an artist to see, is just really rewarding.
Just feels really amazing, and to be able to do something that I love and enjoy and that I'm passionate about all the time.
Sally's artwork has its place in this gallery, and it makes her feel like she has a place in society. Kelly Foran, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester.
I wish Sally all the best. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we showed you 103-year-old World War II veteran Tom Jones meeting school children in Salford. His visit was part of a national VE Day anniversary project to connect thousands of children across the country with the events of 80 years ago. Well, after Tom's visit, the children were asked to write Tom a letter. This week, he went back to the James Brindley Community Primary School to thank them, as Jane McCubbin reports.
At 103 years old, Bombardier Tom Jones is one of the few remaining voices. Someone who can say that 80 years ago they were there. Last month he delivered a letter to James Brindley Community School in Manchester to tell them exactly what that was like. And today he's back.
Hello, Ruby.
Hi, Tom.
To hear their letters.
Hello, Annabelle.
Hi,
A chance for the voices of the future to express their gratitude to the heroes of the past.
Dear Tom, I want to say that you were so brave, and to now be 103 years of age, what an achievement. I felt so happy to be able to speak to an actual World War survivor.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would not have been able to survive without seeing my family for all those years. I would have gone back on a rowing boat myself.
Dear Tom, I would never be able to do what you did, never mind being a teenager.
19.
I could never imagine having to just grow up immediately, especially if I was going to war.
Oh, you had to. You had to do that. You had to grow up quick.
So far, 50,000 children have signed up to the VE Mail scheme, each letter a bridge between generations, a token of gratitude for sacrifices they hope they will never have to make.
You are right, there are not enough bad words to describe war, and no one should ever want to go back to it.
No, they shouldn't. There's no glory in war.
I also love that wherever you went, you carried a picture of your sweetheart with you.
I used to take it out every night and kiss her goodnight.
I thought it was wonderful that you married your sweetheart Eileen.
She waited 4 years for me to come home.
I can tell that the marriage was a dream come true for her too.
Truly, yes.
Now because of you, I know I would never want to go to war.
No, nobody wants to go to war.
I can't thank you enough. Yours sincerely, Evania Pandoria Stark. Yours sincerely, Emily Elfie Sue Hall. P.S. I hope no one has to go to war ever, ever again.
Please, God, you will never have to do it.
Yours sincerely, Annabelle. Yours sincerely, Ruby.
Veterans like Tom shaped the course of history. Today, he hopes his sacrifice and his story has shaped a brighter tomorrow.
It makes me feel all that I went through was worth it.
Amazing man. That was Jane McCubbin reporting. We'll have lots more on the 80th anniversary of VE Day next week. Now, last week we started to look at the care system for children in our region, and we looked at the struggle to recruit new foster carers in local authorities. But you can also foster through charities and private companies, and Burroughs is one of them. And they say that misconceptions around age, race and financial status stop people from signing up, as Isabel Fry reports.
Can be quite chaotic some days. Nothing goes to plan when you had a child in. We're always known for being slightly late to things. Also, it's rewarding. Again, like Luke said, it's lovely just to be able to experience things with the child.
Luke and Rebecca are in their late 20s. They've now fostered 2 little boys, but just 2 years ago, they thought their age would stop them from being able to do this.
We were considering it then, but then, like you said, we were looking at the models that we had around us and the things we saw around us, they were all older.
We did think that maybe you had to be older, maybe you had to have the experience of actually having children of your own, but as we looked into it, we realised, no, we could actually just go about it and actually do it.
Age is just one of many things people think will stop them from becoming a foster carer.
To be fair, we talked about it on and off for years, but it was always, what if we couldn't do it? I always wanted to work full time, I wanted a career. And I didn't know how that would fit, and I didn't know it was possible. We didn't think we'd be allowed to keep a job down, but that's not the case.
Children's charity Burroughs say they're finding their experienced foster carers are now retiring, while fewer people are signing up to fill that gap. So for them, tackling these misconceptions is more important than ever.
There's on average 300 children that are referred to us every single week, needing a safe home, a safe place to live, and just to kind of have a chance of a happy childhood. So for us, the difference that makes is obviously giving a child that opportunity to have that and to be able to do all the things that children should be able to do.
Charities are encouraging people to ask questions, not make assumptions.
People often think that they're too old. Sometimes people think that because they don't own their own house, that it's not something they're able to do. People sometimes think they've got children of their own. They think because they work full-time. There's quite a lot of misconceptions out there that when we come to speak to people and break that down, it's often not the case.
The average age of a foster carer is 55, but anyone over the age of 21 can inquire. And currently in the Northwest, there are around 15,000 kids in care. And it's young couples like Luke and Rebecca who are trying to tackle this.
One of the main reasons I wanted to do it was to give kids a proper childhood. We've taken him to like the zoo, and just seeing his face light up, like meeting Santa, it's lovely to see the world through his eyes and have these experiences and share them with him.
Isabel Fry, BBC Northwest Tonight, Ormskirk.
We'll have more from Izzy on fostering tomorrow. Now, to be or not to be, Hamlet is often said to be Shakespeare's greatest tragedy. I don't think I'm going to get the part with that delivery. Modern reversions of his plays, though, have become common over the years, but maybe nothing like this. A critically acclaimed production team has teamed up with Radiohead's Tom Yorke, promising a show unlike any before, as Anna Jameson reports.
Radiohead's 2003 Glastonbury set is often considered one of the band's finest live performances. 2 weeks earlier, they'd released their 6th studio album, Hail to the Thief.
I saw Radiohead for the first time live at the Hail to the Thief concert, and it made an indelible impression. And I was writing out the play Hamlet, and I was listening to Radiohead, but this album in particular, I was haunted by lyrics that I was hearing, and I started writing the lyrics down with the play, and it was like just a gut feeling that there was something about these two pieces that really spoke to each other.
And she's made it happen. 2 artistic giants merging together for a Royal Shakespeare Company production like never before. And it's being premiered here at Factory International, which is not only being seen as a coup for the venue, but for Manchester. I'm such a dreamer. And frontman Tom Yorke has been present throughout, deconstructing the entire album.
It's amazing being in the room and listening to musicianship, and certainly at this level where, you know, as fans of the album, the fact that I came into work and we were sat down and Tom was pulling apart an album that we know and putting it back together beautifully and honing it around something we'd made, it kind of feels like as good as it gets in terms of your job. It's been spectacular, and at moments really stunning watching what Tom's done.
The role of Hamlet is one of the most revered in acting, played here by David Tennant in a 2009 film adaptation.
In Vienna, Gonzaga was the Duke's name, his wife Baptista. You should see it as a knavish piece of work, but what of that?
I tried very hard to kind of forget about that as much as I could when approaching the role, especially with this unique production. It's not a normal show. It's not quite, you know, a musical. It's a different sort of beast, and there have been a couple of moments where you try to play down the fact that you'll never forget first meeting Tom or first doing a music workshop where, you know, he's playing guitar and you're singing one of his songs, and you go, just pretend that it's not a moment that you'll never ever stop thinking about. It's fine. It's totally fine.
Tickets for Hamlet Hail to the Thief are out now and runs until the 18th of May. Anna Jameson, BBC Northwest Tonight in Manchester.
Now, we've got the weather with Molly in just a moment, but there's a bank holiday coming up, isn't there? And among the chores that you might have to face if you're lucky enough to have one is mowing the lawn. But now there's a good excuse not to. Look at this fella. Tomorrow marks the start of No Mow May, when we're encouraged to let the grass, the wildflowers, even the weeds grow to encourage insect and bird life. Lindsay Prosser has this report.
This is an oasis for wildlife in an urban area. At New Ferry Butterfly Park, part of the site is mowed and the rest is managed as wildflower meadow.
Long grass benefits wildlife because it allows your flowers to set seed through May, so that means more wildflowers build up over time. It also means there's way more pollen and nectar for your bees, your butterflies. Think of it as an all-you-can-eat buffet for those insects that are out there, and it really adds to kind of the other flowers that are already in your garden.
The charity Plant Life wants those of us with lawns not to mow in May, so we create many more wildflower areas.
You can have a shorter area and then maybe a middle area and a slightly longer area at the back, so have those different lengths of grass. And that just means you're encouraging wildflowers in those longer bits, but you've also got your short bit where the kids play or the dogs run as well.
Gardening is Liz Carter's passion, but she's equally passionate about leaving room for wildlife.
Why is it important for you to have wild areas as well as cultivated areas?
I just think you have to keep as close to nature as you can. And I like to think that I'm sharing this plot with lots of things that often I don't see, and one of which is butterflies.
If you feel you can't leave the mower in the shed during May, take inspiration from Wirral Country Park, where wildflower meadows have been managed for 10 years.
So right now in the meadows we've got a lot of cuckoo flower, which is a beautiful kind of lilac-y pink flower, and that's really important for a species of butterfly called the orange tip. The female lays its eggs on that flower and the caterpillars eat the leaves, and right now they're laying their eggs, and if you're really, really lucky and you look on the underside of those flowers, you'll see a tiny, tiny little orange egg. Now obviously if we didn't have these meadows, we wouldn't have those cuckoo flowers and we wouldn't have those orange tip butterflies.
If you do leave the mower in the shed during May, you're encouraged not to mow for the whole of the summer. Lindsay Prosser, BBC North West Tonight.
Got a whole summer get out of jail card. Fantastic. Right, Molly, how is it for the lawns? Is it going to be good weather for them?
Well, certainly not tomorrow. It's going to stay very warm. It's been extremely warm today, hasn't it? In fact, a very good day for Kay to book off, actually. I've been here in the studio, but sticking with the floral theme, at least I've got to see your beautiful Weather Watcher photos. Lovely scenes in Chorley, look at those bluebells, and equally in Bolton as well. Thank you very much for sending your photos. And if you'd like to send your own in, you can do. All the details are on the screen behind me. So the average temperature then for this time of year is around 12 degrees Celsius. And today, some of us have seen highs of up to 26 degrees Celsius in the likes of Manchester, Cheshire and Merseyside. And tomorrow, we could see even higher. But things will change as we head towards Friday. We're going to draw in this cool air and temperatures will drop as we head into the bank holiday weekend, but high pressure still in charge. So plenty of sunny spells at the bank holiday, just feeling a little bit cooler. Overnight tonight, you can see it's going to stay dry and clear. It's going to be a bit of a clammy night because of how warm it's been, lows of around 8 degrees Celsius. And tomorrow, it's going to be a very similar day in terms of humidity, high pollen levels, high UV levels, but there will be a few showers for the lawns. So some of those showers could turn quite thundery, actually. Highs around 26 degrees Celsius. And the outlook for the bank holiday, Rog, not too bad. A bit of sunshine, but not as warm.
We'll take that. Thanks, Molly. And thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night.